my compadre from NFL Network and a three-time Super Bowl champion. Willie joins me here on the show. How are you, Willie?
I am well, Rich. How you doing, buddy?
Well, I'm fine. Walk me through what Belichick is like this week, Steelers week, coming off a loss like the one they suffered in Miami, Willie. What's he like right now?
Well, basically, he wants to put the whole Miami debacle behind him. He wants these guys to focus, kind of hit the reset button, and try to get them to understand the magnitude of this game. There's a lot of corrections that's going on. That defense had played great, during the 8-game winning streak. In a lot of different categories, a lot of different critical areas that they wasn't playing well in the beginning of the season. So I'm sure there's been a lot of corrections going on and a lot of adjustments going on this week.
So what are the adjustments? What did you see from the Dolphins, what they were able to do? Obviously, Kenyon Drake was a matchup nightmare. That would think that Le'Veon Bell will be the same. There were a lot of crossing routes that Gilmore got washed, that couldn't get through the wash across the field. Landry was wide open. Parker was wide open. That you'd think Brown would do the same, if not Smith-Schuster. What do you think, Willie?
Well, Brown has done that every time they've met. I mean, he's been a nightmare, averaging about 100 yards of receiving yards every time they played. So, of course, they got to figure out how to slow him down. I don't think you stop Antonio Brown. I think you got to figure out how to slow him down. And you're right, Rich. When you watch the tape, there are a lot of missed tackles, a lot of breakdowns and assignments and mental errors. And that's what we saw from this defense the first 4 weeks. Plays with Drake right in the middle of the gap. Guys come up, just whiff, miss. He breaks a long run. There was some one-on-one coverage with Drake out of the backfield that the linebackers, for whatever reason, let Drake get behind him. He catches the ball for big plays. Receivers running through free, miscommunications on the back ends, things that we thought that this defense had made adjustments and fixed, but those problems came back up in Miami. So I'm sure that all the tape that they're seeing are the breakdowns that they had defensively. They're going to get back to business. They're going to probably break things down. It's going to be a total different game plan going in this week against Pittsburgh, which is a more deadlier offense. I mean, they're way more explosive than Miami. So they know they have their hands full, and if they make critical errors and mistakes, it's going to continue to turn into big plays.
Willie McGinest here on the Rich Eisen Show. Knowing Brady as well as you do, what do you attribute his last 3 week statistical slowdown to, Willie?
Well, especially last game, he played terrible. He knows that. He's competitive, and he beats himself down. And there was just throws that wasn't even close, to the target that we should. A lot had to do with the breakdowns up front, with the protection. And you got to give Miami credit. They did a great job. Like when they have those pressure routes, which a pressure route is when you get that pressure, routes that he depends are going to be open. They did a good job of taking that away. They did a good job of not letting the receivers on the outside, Cooks and Hogan and those guys off the line. So when Brady got in trouble, the guys that he wanted to release the ball to wasn't open. They wasn't there. They threw the timing off. And when he did have receivers open, he just wasn't on point. He wasn't accurate. And, that's the fewest points he scored all year long. And statistically, one of his worst games. So I don't expect to see that again. I know how Brady is. I know how sick to his stomach he was after that game and how he's going to make adjustments and how he understands how big this game is coming into Pittsburgh. And basically, this game is going to be a playoff atmosphere, and it's going to be the team that wins will be the team that have home field.
Well, I think where I was driving at too there, though, Willie, is that at some point we're going to see some diminishing returns due to age, right? I mean, you can only play at a GOAT level for a certain span of time, and he has done that, and he has set the bar higher that maybe no one's ever going to jump over. But do you think anything that we've seen over the last 3 weeks of the struggles that you said of being accurate or being able to make certain throws is due to anything that we might see as a canary in a coal mine, Willie?
No, I don't, because before that we were talking about MVP. Just a week ago we were talking about Wentz, Brady, Antonio Brown, a couple other people to be the MVP of the league. So if his skills are diminishing, we wouldn't be having those conversations. And I can go out and point out tape of every single quarterback and show you where they had, bad games or they wasn't consistent or they missed throws from Matt Ryan all the way down. So I wouldn't say that. I would say let him finish the season, see how things turn out. But Brady's been consistent. He's been playing at a high level. And, other teams make adjustments too. You got to give them credit. I don't think he, as a defensive guy and playing against a really good quarterback, you don't want to be that team for him to go out and have career days and throw for all these numbers and touchdowns and yards. So teams make adjustments, and they have good games as well, like we saw with the Miami defense.
Willie McGinest of NFL Network, my compadre here on the Rich Eisen Show. All right, who do you think McDaniels and Brady are circling on that Pittsburgh defense and planning a certain matchup problem for them? Who do you think that is right now in the film rooms this week, Willie?
Well, the obvious one is Shazier's not there. He was one of their better coverage guys. He's very athletic in coverage and in space. So I would be definitely targeting Spence, a guy who just signed on. Vince Williams. These are really good players that you want to attack them in the coverage side. And a lot of the success that the Patriots offensively had against Pittsburgh is to get those guys out of the box. Don't allow them to crowd the blocks and bring those blitz zones and blitzes and put pressure on Brady. You want to spread them out, and you want to make them do things they're not accustomed to doing or they really don't like doing, and that's coveraging. So if you get those kind of guys out of the box, I expect the running backs to go against those linebackers, and of course, Gronk is coming back, and they've always had, the last three meetings, Gronk has had a lot of success with the safety or safety/linebacker trying to cover him. So that's going to be a definite matchup to look out for as well.
All right, so put me in the defensive film room right now. When they put the tape on of Brown and Bell, what is Patricia thinking and talking to his guys about this week?
Well, it starts with Bell. If you can't stop the run game, then it opens up everything down the field. So you got to try and make them one-dimensional. And the Patriots have had some success in doing that. But if you don't stop Bell, you don't have a choice. The one thing with Antonio Brown is you just don't want to give up those big explosive plays. So if you play tight man coverage, you better have help over the top. He runs great routes. He runs every single route. They move him around and do a great job of trying to find those mismatches, whether he's outside or inside, or they got him in motion. So he's going to have his catches, Rich, and, you can't expect to stop him, but you just don't want to give up those explosive plays. I think in 3 meetings, Browns had 1 touchdown, but he's averaged 100 yards receiving. So they understand he's going to have catches, but just try and keep him out of the end zone. And then with Bell, the same way. Don't let him get going in the running game, and as a receiver, you got to figure out how not to give him those one-on-one matchups either, because he's one of their better receivers, even though he's playing the running back position.
Ask him a poll question.
Hey, Willie, which team most needs to be the number 1 seed in the AFC, Steelers or Pats?
What do you think?
I would probably say Pittsburgh, because they haven't had success going in New England and winning. And I think they play better. If you watch their track record over this past season, they struggle a little bit on the road. They don't play as well on the road. So if you talk about playing at an atmosphere at Heinz Field and having the crowd behind you, and you look at what they've done at home, wins versus losses, and the success rate, I would say Pittsburgh would probably need to have that home game.
What's your relationship with Snoop like this week, Willie?
You know what? We was down in San Jose at our youth football championships, and we got to have a little conversation, about the game. We didn't really get into it all the way, but he was feeling good about himself. I mean, he was feeling real good about himself.
Well, he's got a Long Beach Poly guy on his team right now, right? It's Smith-Schuster, right, Willie?
He does.
Okay.
He does. So it gives him more. It gives him a little more to root for. And I've been checking out his Instagram, and it's just been all Steelers. All every day is something Steelers going up. Maybe 2 or 3 times a day, something Steelers is getting posted. So he may even be at the game. I'm not sure. We haven't talked yet, but he was thinking about going down for the game.
All right, Willie, you take care. Always love chatting with you. Okay, I'll see you at the shop.
All right, Rich. Appreciate it.
You're the man, Willie McGinest.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.